Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Magically Cruising, the cruise podcast where we share our personal cruise tips and reviews to help you make the most out of your next sailing. My name's Kiwa, and I'm an independent travel agent specializing in all things cruise, Disney, and North America, and I'm joined by my fellow co-host.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I write about cruise and travel over at Cruising with Kids and Mini Travelers.
And today, Sarah, this is a topic that we've been teasing for a while because I keep bringing it up, is does it pay to be loyal to your cruise line? It's kind of a bit of an overarching conversation or a bit of an introduction about kind of cruise loyalty schemes and whether or not being loyal to Royal, for example, pays off for you.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because people feel so strongly about it. Um, but yeah, I suppose we've got to unpick a few of the cruise lines, haven't we? But obviously, I myself am striving towards Diamond this year, and when I get there, it's like everything, isn't it? I suppose if you find a brand you love, then it's just an added
Yeah.
perk or an added bonus. But
Yeah.
yeah, are they worth it? What do you get from 'em, and
Yeah.
are
I
they?
think that's the
Well,
thing, and it's funny. I realized in the last year, since we've been kind of working together more as well, I've heard you and Donna talk more and more and more about getting Diamond or being close to Diamond. And I
mm,
feel like as you are kind of getting closer and closer to it, you're getting more and more excited by it, and it's now incentivized you to kind of achieve it. And it is actually
yeah.
becoming a deciding factor because it's coming up in conversations more and more than it was when we first started or we first
Mm,
met about a year or 2 years or so ago, type of thing.
mm,
So that's why I think is a fascinating topic because I myself as well, we were never in a loyalty scheme. Like we were in the Disney one, and the Disney loyalty scheme, as good as it is, isn't the best for kind of giving you onboard perks. You get kind of advanced booking for things, and you get a free specialty meal. So while it was one of those is nice, it was never really one of those. Oh, I'm going to build up to get. I want to get to
mm.
platinum with Disney. It was like whatever. I'm not that bothered. But now we're in the Virgin one and we get all the Virgin perks. Now that I'm thinking to go with other cruise lines, I'm like, but I'm going to miss my free coffees each day and I'm going to miss my extra free drinks each day. And it's becoming a deciding factor for us whereby every time we think we're going to book another cruise line, we're like, yeah, I know, but we got to pay for Wi-Fi on that. So it is becoming a deciding factor for us now that we are kind of building up loyalty with these cruise lines more and more. So I think it's definitely worth having a conversation about, does it
Mm,
affect your buying decision? But then also kind of maybe we're not going to have time to talk about every cruise line because there are just so many
mm,
and they all do very different things. But pick out some of the more popular ones that we either cruise with or we know of or work with regularly to kind of just
mm.
point out how they work and what a loyalty scheme is.
Yeah, I don't know where to start with this one. It's like, oh.
Well, I
But
guess
you're
the
right.
first question here really is does it make a difference to you when you are choosing your cruise? Does it make a difference to you, the loyalty scheme and the onboard perks you're going to get with kind of your current top sailing cruise line?
I'd say no, but then what was it? I saw a cruise on. I can't remember the cruise line, but it was another cruise line that we'd sailed on before. Might have been Princess now, and we're Ruby on Princess, which is only the second tier, but you get some nice
Mm.
benefits with Princess. And I think I saw a cruise on that, or it might. And Chris was said, "Well, no, because we'll hit Diamond if we cruise on Royal again this year." So actually, it does more than you think, doesn't it? Because he was like, and
Totally.
because we're doing Celebrity now, next week. Because they're connected, but you don't build from one to the other, do you? They're separate,
Yeah.
but you can get your
Yep.
benefits. So when we hit Diamond, there'll be more benefits on Celebrity.
Yeah.
But yeah, and, there's even been that conversation, "Oh, we should have bought Royal Caribbean, we could have got us to Diamond quicker," but I'm really but then I'm also super looking forward to this ship. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it does affect your decision in
100%. Yeah.
subconsciously.
I think so, and I hear it more and more from my customers as well, type of thing of even the ones who were in P&O and their Peninsula Club, they kind of originally were like, "Oh, I'm not that bothered. I'm never going to make that many sailings." And then they've fallen in love with sailing with P&O to the point that now they're racking up and they're getting more
Mm,
and more points into the loyalty club. And now they're getting sent exclusive like discounts that they can use as well to book when they book their next cruises. So for them, they're like adamant that no, we want to get to the top of that club. We want all the
mm,
perks type of thing. And it does, if you are, if the reward scheme is good and some cruise lines are better than others, the perks definitely, they kind of make you feel like a mini celebrity on board when you are getting like your extra free drinks or you get exclusive invites to events that, first time sailors may not get access to. I think it makes a big difference to how you feel and you feel rewarded for kind of booking regularly with that cruise
mm.
line.
But it's funny, isn't it? Because there's a lot of chat at the moment about people that don't feel rewarded. Particularly with Royal Caribbean, and I don't think it's anything Royal Caribbean are doing wrong. I think it's the success of the program
Yes.
sort of been to
Yeah.
their detriment. So in lockdown, they did the double points, didn't they?
Yes.
Um, and we were booked on a sailing with a suite, and it had got us nearly to Diamond 3 cruises ago, but then we had to change the sailing because of the holidays. But so people are now kicking off. So on our cruise, um, only the top pinnacles were allowed in the suite lounge, where a couple of years
Yes.
ago, pinnacles got to go in the suite lounge. And we were a bit like, "Do you know what? We've paid for a suite, so they can't if they let them all in, what's the point of paying for a suite?
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
gonna be packed." But we just like that was our opinion to ourselves. But they didn't. They said only the top pinnacles can go in. So then the pinnacles were all kicking off around the ship saying, "Well, what's the point of my loyalty?" But they get their free drinks, they get free Wi-Fi, they get all different benefits.
Yeah.
But they also have a Pinnacle lounge. But even like Donna and Darren were Diamond Plus and weren't allowed in the Diamond Plus lounge, Pinnacle lounge, because there was too many of them. So
Yeah.
it didn't matter because they were in the suite lounge. But so yeah, I think it's brilliant and you do get brilliant perks. But I think the extra treatment they used to get probably has been watered down because they're like, I mean, when you look on the boards when you get on the ships, how many pinnacles are there? How many diamonds,
Do you
diamond
get what I
plus? There's
mean?
always more of
Yeah.
them than anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think Royal's a bit of a unique anomaly within the industry as well. And like
Mm,
Loyal to Royal, I think, is the only cruise line I'm aware of that has its own kind of like fan club slogan, whereby people are kind of like, no, no, I'm loyal to Royal. And I think they have probably one of the more aggressive communities around kind of loyalty. And I know there's a lot of kind of banter between people who are and aren't in it type of thing. And
yeah.
but they have rewarded people quite aggressively who are at the top end of the spectrum, and there are some really great perks for that. But I think some people maybe there's a bit of green envy for those people maybe who aren't in the loyalty scheme, or
Mm,
they're not able to go as often and sail and get kind of the higher levels of the pinnacle
mm,
and get the higher points type of thing. And as you say, when the pool is too big, they have to put in rules, unfortunately, to kind of
yeah.
reward those who maybe are higher up the
Mm,
ladder type of thing. So Disney done the
mm,
same thing as well. I think up until 2 years ago, I think it was, the highest you could get was platinum, I believe it's called, which was like 15 sailings or more. So Disney's is done by the number of voyages. Now, me and Phil had massive umbrage with this because we booked longer sailings. So we booked an 11 night and a 7 night
right.
and that's classed as 2 voyages, so we are technically still silver. But if you booked 3-night voyages, each
Yeah.
one of those 3 nights voyages counted as a credit towards the voyage rather than the number of nights.
Right.
So we were a little bit put out of like, well, we've done more nights than some people that are in gold, but we're still silver because we've only done 2 voyages. Um, but because now they've got so many people who were in that kind of higher pool of loyalty club, they've introduced a whole new level called Pearl to kind of,
Mm,
and it's 50 voyages, like it's considerably more than the 15 before, like
mm.
um, to kind of try and just make sure that that very, very top echelon is smaller and a niche group type of thing, because there are so many people who, over the time that Disney has been running now, have been able to quite easily achieve the top level of the current platinum level.
I think they should do it by nights and sailing, shouldn't they? So that all the other cruise lines do seem to do that.
Yeah.
And then you've got, I'm assuming Disney's the same that you get double points if you're in suites but
No,
Princess,
not that I'm
do they
aware
not?
of. It's pretty much
So
the number of sailings. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong.
Celebrity depends what cabin you're in. Like there's different levels of points in Celebrity. I think
I'll double
MSC is
check
the
now
same.
with Disney, but I'm pretty sure it is just. You may be right, and they may get double, but I'm pretty sure it is just literally for sailings you've done. Oh, I'm wrong with the number. Sorry. So Disney is once you've done your first one on your second sailing with them, you are classed as silver. After you finish 5 on your 6th, you're classed as gold. Once you've done 10 on your 11th sailing, you're classed as platinum, which used to be the highest sailing, the highest membership. And then if your pearl is 25, not 50, sorry. So 25 sailings or more than you are in pearl, which is the new club. The big one with Disney, and whereby some people get really annoyed by it, is the platinum or the higher sailings. They get to book earlier, and Disney are really
Oh,
aggressive with fluid pricing. So they get to book the itineraries 3 or 4 days before the general public do. So they get a head start on those really cheap prices when itineraries go on sale. But also as well, they get to book all the onboard activities as well. So if you want to do character dining, bibbidi bobbidi boutique and all that type of stuff, generally concierge beat all of them. So you book a suite, you're above everyone, I think,
mm.
apart from maybe Pearl. Um, But they get a head start on booking all the specialty dining, all the onboard activities and everything, and it drives silver members crazy because by the time it goes open to silver or new members, there's very little left available type of thing, and you're kind of going on and going, oh well, I can't get to do any of the specialty or fun events because it's all been taken up by Castaway Club members. But that's why they have these
That's
schemes at the end of the
bizarre,
day.
isn't it? I mean, I don't Princess, you get your sailings early, so I mean, we're only Emerald. No, we're not. We're only Ruby, which is after 3 cruises or 30 days. Um, but still, like, you get your sailings early, so you get to look at stuff before
Yeah,
everybody else does, which I
yeah,
like, and I wish that Royal would do that almost, especially with bloody Japan. It's never gonna come out, that cruise. Never. The other day I saw an advert, Japan cruise. I was like, "Yay!" Oh, no, it's this
yeah.
year. God's
When they
sake,
announced
why
the
you want
webinar today, they were like, exciting new webinar. I was like, yes, the new webinar. It's like about our flight from Humberside Airport. Like, damn it. And I thought it was going to be the training for all the new itineraries. It was like, no, it's about their flights they've got from
it's
Humberside
like they're
Airport. Oh,
never
well, I'll
coming
wait for the
out.
next one.
They're gonna release them the week before at this rate.
I'll be on
But,
holiday finally, and they'll announce them a whole watch.
yeah, I'll definitely be on holiday because I always release them when I'm on holiday. Um, yeah, but I mean, I suppose the benefits, it's you can't I don't think you can let it dominate what you book. I've been saying that, as I said,
Comes out.
we have made a decision based on that this year. But I
Yeah.
saw an interesting thread the other day, and somebody was dissing Diamond members. What I don't like is when someone posts in a group, "I'm elite" or "I'm
Mm,
platinum," and I didn't expect this. Everybody's a customer on the ship, and everybody should be treated the same. I don't agree that
yeah.
anybody should be treated differently by staff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, I think that's a bit, but I think if you've earned those points, you've earned the benefits that come with it, um,
Yes.
because everybody is entitled to good
Yeah.
customer service. We've all paid for a fare. But then some of the
Yes.
benefits, I mean, somebody said the other day they were Diamond Plus, and they said, actually, when you work it out, because somebody said, "Oh, it's just everybody's doing this for 5 drinks a day, it's pathetic." Um, and somebody said, "Well, actually, when you work out that on a sailing, you get on Diamond Plus, is it you get 5 drinks and you get 2 free photos and you get 2 free Wi-Fi days, I think. So, and you if you book on the first night, you get buy one, get one free on the specialty dining."
Really.
So if you work out the cost of all that, then I mean, just your 5 how much is 5 drinks a day? So at $15 a drink,
So it's
what
15 is
what's
going to be 30. So it's going to be, oh, God, quick math, 60, $75 per person, roughly.
yeah, so that's not if you're not a massive drinker, 5 drinks
Yeah.
isn't that's quite a few drinks a day.
It is, yeah. You wouldn't need a drinks package, and I see a lot of people saying like once they get into the level that you can get your included drinks, people
Mm,
say, "Well, there's no point in getting a drinks package because what I drink over my complimentary drinks each day, I'll just pay as I go," type of thing. There's no benefit
that's it.
anymore.
You just get a soft drinks package, don't you? And if you
Yeah,
need an extra wine plus, you get discounts on wine, don't you? So even with gold members, you get every day you get a 50% discount off a glass of wine. Is it 50%?
yeah. I can't remember.
Let me look
There's one
now.
that I'm aware of, but because I'm still technically pre-gold, because all mine have been travel agent sailings, they don't
Yeah.
count towards status.
Yeah, my NCL
So
was
I'm
like
still
that.
pre-gold. I just get asked about it all the time, but we have no oversight about them. The majority of cruise lines don't tell us what members, clubs, levels people are in. But they keep that stuff to themselves because obviously that's their reward program. I can obviously, when I search where people, if I know their number, I can bring their details up, but it really will tell me kind of all the perks,
Mm.
the details. So the only way I know about it is just by checking the public website or by being in them myself. That's why I know the Virgin and the Disney ones so well because they're the two we're in.
Oh, here you go. So 50% off a glass of wine, beer or soda. Oh, so you get 2 per sailing of those, but everybody
Ah,
once after your
coupons.
first cruise, you get that. But
Yeah.
do you know, I used to like it when you used to get a coupon book, but now it's all digital, so you have to make sure you ask for it. 50% off a Johnny Rockets milkshake. I'm not gonna have one of those. And then you get discounts, so like 10% off a glass of wine and soda anyway, and so at Diamond you get 20% off.
Like, you have to. So I'm just looking at it now myself. So pretty much it's around about diamond, isn't it, where the free drinks start kicking in. So you get complimentary drinks up to $14 in value, and then it depends on the region. So it's 15 in the UK for
Mm.
some reason. I'm guessing that's because of the AT, I'm guessing. It excludes Starbucks, Bionic Bar, and Deserted. And you got to get to diamond, which is 80 points. So am I right in saying it's a point per night, isn't it? So you got to sail 80 nights with Royal to get to Diamond. In most
Yes,
situations. I know suites, you
but
get double and things like that.
single occupancy, you get double. So there's different
Do
things, like
you?
Donna said it's really interesting. So when she was at, one of the last ones, they went to the Diamond Plus, and we would just hit an Emerald on the last cruise. So and our event was in the morning. I thought, I'm not going to drink free champagne at 10 in the morning, sod that.
I
Um,
would.
and I think we were doing our 2-mile walk or whatever it was, so we missed it. But Donna went to hers and she said, "Actually, it's really interesting looking because you can see how they've got there." So some
Yeah.
people, if
Yeah,
they've
yeah, yeah.
done, like, I don't know, they've got their 80 points and they've done 7 or 8 cruises, but some people have only done
Yeah.
4 because they've done
Yeah.
2-week sailings in
Transatlantics, and
suites.
they did in
Yeah,
yeah.
and if you did single occupancy, you get double points on that as well. So
There's always ways around these schemes as well, though, if you know about them. Like, the prime example is the Disney one. You know, I could book
mm,
15 transatlantics, and it would take me that's gonna be 10 nights. It's gonna take me 150-ish nights to get to, Platinum with Disney. Or you could book 15 three-night sailings, which, takes you to their private island type of thing, and you could do that in maths is not my strong point when I'm on the fly, but that's a lot less nights per sailing type of thing. There are ways around some of these schemes at the end day to kind of maximize your time in the system. Um,
be interesting to find out if there's more Americans in these loyalty schemes. And the reason I say that is because it's so much easier and cheaper to do a short cruise from America.
100%.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
you can do a short cruise out of here, but is it worth it? Like,
This is, and I keep harping on about Disney, but this was my annoyance with the Disney system because we don't have the access to the 3, 4 night sailings that the Americans do. So it's easier for an American to kind of do, and you hear about it all the time in the Disney groups. Oh, we just did 3 back to back. So then we had the 3 different credits to kind of get us to the next level. We can't do that from the UK. We don't, and this year we finally have short sailings from the UK, but they're at a massive premium than the ones in the Caribbean because there's only one ship doing it for 1 month. So we're paying the price on a 3 night from the UK is the same price as the 7 night in the Caribbean. That's the exchange rate we're paying per night type of thing for easy convenience to get up the ladders. Now, on the grand scheme of things, one thing I did come to realization, my first voyage, I was really put out when I found out about kind of the extra things people could book that I couldn't book. I was really put out by it. But somebody pointed out to me, like, when it's your first time sailing with a cruise line, you don't know the majority of things that are available type of thing. You're going to be so overwhelmed by the I say basic, but by the general ship, the general stuff that you can do day in, day out, but you're not going to miss what you didn't know about. You only know about all this stuff because it was Facebook at the time type of thing, was sharing all these other stuff. If you're sailing for the first time, you wouldn't know all these things are available. It's only really when you go back and back and back, you're like, well, I dined in the main dining room. I want to try something else. I want to do something different. I want to spend more time doing this, that, and the other. That's when these loyalty schemes start becoming slightly more valuable because you've done the core cruise experience a handful of times. It's
mm,
like with us and Virgin. I say that there isn't really much in the Virgin scheme that you get that's not available to anyone else other than a drinks reception. Everything else that is in the loyalty, you can either pay for or is already included. So this is a bad example, but you're not going to know about the drinks reception because you're not going to know this thing that happens because you've never been on the cruise line before anyway.
yeah, because at the Royal Caribbean, I think Diamond and above, you get a backstage tour. So I did it with Donna this time because I did in Gavin's place, and there was hundreds of people there, hundreds. So I bet the staff are like, "For God's sake," when there's loads of diamonds on. It's gonna have to start being diluted, isn't it? When everybody's gonna be
Yeah.
at a certain level.
Yeah.
It's just still nice. Do you know what? I just like going on my favourite ships. That's where my joy in cruising is.
Yeah.
But, the 5 drinks is a bonus, but I'm not gonna worry about, and I definitely won't be wearing a pin when I get one. But when I talk about the sailings out of America, we I mean, we're doing a Caribbean in February, and we probably have done that cheaper than what we could have cruised out of
Yeah.
the Med for that one
Yeah.
sailing. I mean, there's others where we've got better deals this way. So to our
Yeah.
American friends, it is with love and quite a lot of jealousy that I say that.
It
No
is.
other,
No, it is.
because you're so
100%. Like,
lucky.
because we missed out on Virgin's loyalty scheme has driven me crazy because they've moved the goalposts on it consistently, and they've introduced all kinds of limited time special statuses depending on
Mm.
where you booked and when you booked. And if you sailed Virgin in the very first year, you were grandfathered into something called a Sea Blazer. And Sea Blazers, every time you buy a $300 bar tab, you get a $125 bar tab. But you had to have sailed with Virgin Voyages in year one Now, I did sail with Virgin Voyages in year one, but it was on a travel agent invite, so I don't get credit for that sailing. So even though I technically could do it, I didn't get credit for it. So I've missed out on this very elusive kind of sea blazer status. I have sea rover status, which was the second version of it, whereby if you did 2 sailings in the second year, you got sea rover status. So I get $100 rather than $50 bonus, but it was only available to those who sailed twice in that second year of Virgin Voyages. There are other ones as well, like a secret loyalty club for certain members who sailed a certain number of times in year one and year two. Like there's all these kind of convoluted things like that. And I think sometimes when they grandfather people in because they were just there at that time of the place, I get why they want to do that. But it's unfair then. They're like, well, I may have sailed a lot more now since then than people who sailed in year one, but I'll never get access to that perk because it was locked to those who supported in the first year and paid to get on their cruise. There's a boring story why I didn't
And
pay.
that's why, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I get it. I
It's
get
the
it.
leap of faith.
Yeah, and that's what they rewarded. So that's why it's called the Sea
Yeah.
Blazers, and that's what they called it. It was to reward those who took a chance and supported Virgin in their first year.
Mm.
It's just, again, as you say, back to the American thing. In the UK, we were still in lockdown, so it was basically the only way we could have sailed Virgin in that first year would have been on those seacations to the middle of like the English Channel.
Uh,
And at the time, this is such a boring, like going back to what COVID was like. I didn't think I was going to get my COVID vaccine until after Virgin had stopped sailing in the UK. So we booked Princess instead because Princess was sailing into September, October. So I
yeah.
booked Princess thinking I'm not going to get my vaccine. Because at the time, I was too young to get my vaccine
Right.
until the end of August. And then they brought them all forward. And then that's why I was able to kind of take up a last minute empty space that was available. You could have then done one from the Caribbean, but it would have meant flying to America and all that type of stuff. And we'd already got a flight booked to go to California instead. It's just I'm just bitter, as you say. That's where I get that jealousy of like, I want that sea blazer status, and I'll never get it. And there'll always be that elusive thing I never get.
It's funny, isn't it? I mean, I don't know, what do you think is the best scheme?
I do think, like, so on Princess, because I've done the Princess Academy, I do get access to Elite when I'm on board. I get none of the shoreside perks, but when I'm on board, and that training, I will just preface, is 30 hours plus of travel agent training. So it's not something any travel agent can just do a couple of hours with. I put the time in to get this Commodore status with Princess. So I get Elite when I'm on board, and I think they're good perks as well. Though, to have like that free mini bar in your cabin, but like, is not a deal breaker. It's not like you're gonna get more of an experience than other people for being in the, elite. I'm trying to get the full list of perks down.
I'm just having a look now.
So, yeah, so with princesses, they do it by the number of nights again. So the number of nights you've done on board or the number of voyages, which I think is really good as well with Princess. So to get to Elite, you can do 15 cruises or 150 cruise days. So if you do pick those longer sailings, like a world cruise or possibly an intensive region cruise, you can get quite high up into that quite faster than not doing it. But from my memory, the perks aren't massive for doing that. So, for example, like Elite, the top one, you get a 10% discount off the shops. You get 10% off shore excursions, which can add up quite a bit. I'm not saying it won't. Priority ship to shore water shuttles, so tender boats. Complimentary grapevine wine tasting, which wasn't running when I went because it was in COVID. The complimentary minibar setup is well worth it 'cause that's, a good little mini setup in your cabin when you arrive. You get a deluxe canopy selection on formal nights, which again, because of COVID, they didn't offer on my sailing. Complimentary afternoon tea in your stateroom. Priority disembarkation, which is not an issue, I don't think, anyway. Always think they're funny ones when they give you
Mm,
priority
mm.
disembarkation. And complimentary laundry service and shoe polishing. Like, they're nice perks, but they're not something you would kind of go, I have to change my cruise plans. You get other stuff actually as well. Sorry. You get all the lower perks into it as well. But again, none of them are amazing that I would kind of go, you get 10% off spa treatments, 10% off photo gallery, and access to the Platinum or Elite Lounge, which again, during COVID, they weren't doing. So I haven't had that feature yet either when I've been on board.
Last time we went on, so we Ruby, but then they were really looked after us, and we got the platinum benefits. And the platinum lounge was quite nice actually. You had canopies every night, and it was really nice. I think, and the thing, they do look after you. Like you've got a separate area in the restaurant. Um, but then I suppose again, it's like compared to Royal Caribbean. If you compare that to the suite and the suite lounge, that if you're staying in a suite, then I'd pick that any day. But then I do love Princess. The ships are beautiful. I just wouldn't go out probably written on one. I'd probably rather go out of the
Yeah.
Caribbean or Med.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
benefits are they're soft benefits, aren't they? But it's just little things that make you feel nice and
Yeah.
like chocolates and stuff like that. It was which was and strawberries in your room. That was all lovely.
We joked about the minibar. The minibar was the highlight for us, but we had the Princess Plus package. We were like, why are we excited about a minibar when we've got 15 drinks a day anyway? I can order a drink to my room now using, the Ocean Now for this feature. So like when you put them in perspective, you do kind of go like
Mm.
they give you 50% off medallion net Wi-Fi. But the majority of Princess customers have Princess Plus or Princess Premier, so your Wi-Fi is included anyway. So again, it's obviously if you put cruise only, maybe these are perks that would matter to you. But for the majority of Princess customers, most of what you would book anyway, like having access to specialty dining and all that type of stuff, and the food's always included anyway, they kind of overlap each other a little bit. So that's why I was kind of saying, like, I think Princesses is lovely. Don't get me wrong, I loved having it, and that whole VIP thing whereby they
Mm.
see the medallion. Oh, you're elite with us, sir. I'm like, no, no, not officially, but yes, thank you, please. And like, they do treat you a little bit differently because they see the elite status, which is always an interesting experience on a cruise ship when people know your loyalty status and they treat you a little bit differently because you're like, oh, welcome back.
And I do think again, Princess and Royal Caribbean, Celebrity. I'd not been on Virgin, but I'd say definitely those 3 cruise lines. I think the staff look for something, like if you'd have had that elite, because they're like pins, aren't they? So you sort of have to they're about you. Um, they look for something special in everybody because they make an effort with everybody. So
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know, every cruise I've been on those 3 cruise lines, the staff just go above and beyond.
But it's just because obviously you get it on Royal as well, though. Your key card, isn't it? Your key card, C pass, even sorry, is color coded based on your loyalty status. So are the medallions as well. If you book early enough in advance, your medallion is also customized to the color of your loyalty status as well. So obviously, if you're wearing your medallion around your neck like I was on my cruise, they can see the color of your loyalty status. But also, the Ocean Now technology has like Bluetooth on it, so that when you get close to somebody, your picture comes up on their tablet. So again, they know your loyalty status. Plus, your cabin door says your loyalty status as well with Princess. So they have a visual notifier that you are whatever level in the status is. So it's just they
Do you
can
know,
refer to it, which makes you feel nicer.
I've only ever had a blue card.
Have you?
Yeah, I've
I'm
been
pretty
pla
sure
well,
your
I
C pass is
wasn't
supposed to show. Yeah,
that
that's the
says
back.
platinum. I know, but I don't wanna put my account and stuff on. Um,
True.
platinum and choice, that says on it, but then this is a sweet card, so whether it's different because it was a sweet card.
Sweet difference. Yeah, sweet cards are branded
This would have
differently.
been no, the one before was my first as a platinum, and I never had different colour cards to my friend who it's her first
I
cruise,
thought
but
you
it
did.
it doesn't matter to me.
It does to me.
Um, was it
I
on,
love my bragging rights.
MSC? I had a silver card, and all my friends were like, "Oh
Yeah.
my god, why have
Do
you
you
got a
get
silver card?" And I was like, "Oh, I am I am point matched," and they were all livid. I said, "Did tell everybody to do it." So they all had I can't remember what theirs, but mine was silver. So I
I
was there
love a
when I
little
got a
point
drink,
match scheme and like showing off yet again. Just casually putting it down.
just
I'm
to
like, yes,
wind them
yes.
up. Yeah, no, and I've never been on the cruise line in my life. But then that'll be the same when we go on Celebrity next week. So
Every time
because
you're
we
on Disney and you go back on again, you get a free gift in your cabin type of thing. And I knew for being
oh.
silver with Disney, you get a over the shoulder bag. And I said to Phil, it was like, I am claiming that. Like, I'm going feral for the bag. You are not having the bag. The bag is mine. Never used the bag in my entire life, but I was feral.
Oh.
Before we even booked, I was like, the cabin bag is mine. The silver gift is mine.
We did get a little present last time, but I can't remember what it was because 'cause we'd have hit emerald. We did get something. It was nice, but I
Mm.
can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever
No, I
had
can't
anything
remember.
from Virgin in that regards, like a cabin gift or anything like that. I have had as being part of like a TA group on board, but never for being in the sailing club. I've never had like a bottle of something or a card or something. You get a card, I lie. You get a little card saying "Welcome back, sailing club member," but that's about it. Um, Disney's really good. Like, oh my god, the number of gifts you get in your cabin consistently throughout your cruise, regardless. Like, but they find reason to give you stuff, whether you're
Oh, that's
celebrating,
nice.
whether you're in the vacation club, whether you're in the loyalty club. I think every day of our voyage, pretty much we had something new dropped in our cabin, even if it was just like a Rice Krispie treat. There was always with a little note saying like,
A Rice
hope you're having a
Krispie
great
treat.
day or hope. Well, you know the Mickey Mouse shaped crispy treats
Oh, yeah,
you get in
yeah,
the
yeah.
park? Yeah. You get like literally we come off the ship and our bag was just full of Rice Krispie treats because they would just hand them out like they were giving them like nothing.
That's clever
But
though,
you
because when I go to Disney, I buy a snack just for a picture, and on all our blog posts,
yeah,
there's a picture of a Disney snack. So
yeah,
if you're at sea, that's a really clever.
yeah. We had all sorts.
Yeah, but then it's not always through anything, is it? I mean, we just had Joel on Oasis of the Seas. He's just, oh my God, he's the best cabin attendant I've ever had. I loved him. And he left us a gift, and then we got wine from concierge because it was our 30th anniversary. And we were
Yeah.
just really well looked after. It was lovely.
I do think as well a good cruise line, and I think the premium cruise lines are better at this than maybe the value cruise lines, but they will find reasons to give you stuff for type of thing. It just is part of good customer service at the end of the day, and there will be a certain degree of overhead budget. And like you say, it's down to your cabin host, your head waiter, whoever. And sometimes that's part of the appeal of traditional dining as well, because you dine with the same team every night, they get to know you. So they get to overhear or they ask you
Mm,
questions to get to know you and they learn what you're celebrating.
mm,
Whereas that's one of the things that has been lost as you move, as the cruise line industry moves towards kind of anytime dining. You're not
mm,
getting to know your waiting team, so they're not getting to learn those little bits to pass
mm.
on to your cabin host or to the, guest
Yeah.
services manager to say like, "Oh, they celebrating this," because it's not noted on your file type of thing.
But also then there's some people, and I also think they're right, that say, "I don't have any luck with any cruise. I go on wherever the best deal is, the best
Yeah.
location." And so there's some people that do that as well. I think for me, because I've been one that I'd never go back to the same holiday resort really, but
Yeah.
cruising with the same cruise line is similar, but I try to do different shit. I suppose it's each to your own, isn't it, and what you like, but
Mhm.
there's a strong contingency out there of we don't do loyalty, and that works for them as
Yeah.
well.
I will say it's not until you get into the upper echelons of loyalty that the perks are really like game
Mm,
changing. If you're in the kind of middle to tier, and it's like airlines as well, unless you're in the top tiers, you're not going to get the amazing perks. You're going to get a few niceties like an invite to this and invite to that. But unless you are like, you got to do 15 cruises with Princess to get that minibar in your cabin, which,
yeah.
you know, would you go out of your way to get a minibar? So would you spend all that
No.
money knowingly to try and get the minibar in your cabin? No. But once you have it, it then becomes one of those things of like, oh, but at least if I go back to Princess, I'm going to get my mini bar. Same wise with us in Virgin. If I go back to Virgin, I'm going to get my $100 bar tab, my free laundry, my premium Wi-Fi, and I'm going to get my 2 coffees a day type of thing. That goes a long way. And when you add all that value up, if you get me, that's a good couple of $100 in onboard spend I would have to spend with other cruise lines to replicate those perks that I've now got because the number of sailings I've done. It's more of a kind of recognition to keep you loyal, I guess, more than actually is this something that I wouldn't go out of my way. I guess for me, it wouldn't make me choose another cruise line to build up loyalty
Yeah.
purposely with that cruise line. However, now that I've earned it, it's definitely making me stay loyal, I will say, to Virgin.
Yeah. I'm just trying to work out, but I'm being calculators don't get on. Um, which is ridiculous. Right, equals, times 7 plus 24. Right, so just if you was diamond and this is without getting like you get a free wash and fold and stuff like that. Like you get like we even on Emerald you get like free ironing one night on your first night. So this is just with the drinks and the one free photo you get on diamond is worth $416.
Do you get what I mean?
So
Which,
that's not a bad
you know,
perk.
would you book 80 nights? If you do that by 7, you're looking at what, like 10 cruises? Would you book
Mm.
10 cruises purposely to get that perk? Not at all. I don't think I would.
No,
However,
no.
if you'd sailed enough because you love Royal enough to get that perk unlocked, you would
Mm.
definitely take advantage of it, and it would probably make you rethink then. If you're kind of tempted by a good deal with Princess, I think, and I know I am, more inclined to kind of go, yeah, I know, it may be a good deal to change for that one time, but if I go back to Virgin, I'm going to get my free drinks, my drinks
Yeah.
reception, my premium Wi-Fi, whereas I'm going to have to pay for Princess Plus or Premier to get my premium Wi-Fi, which is another cost because I'm not in
Mm.
the loyalty system.
And actually, that's a really interesting point because that you made earlier that I've only really started thinking about it once I got to 2 cruises away. Because before I didn't think about it because it felt like a long way away.
Yeah.
So then when you're 2 cruises away, you think, "Oh, well, actually, it's worth getting that now because we're at that
Yeah.
point where we're nearly there, um,
Yeah.
and we will use it." But then also there's an argument for getting the drinks package as well if you've got a lot of sea days because I do like, a mimosa and a few cocktails
Yeah.
in the afternoon, and so I'm not saying I'm a raging alcoholic, 'cause I'm absolutely not, but I drink, by the time you've got all you like, but then you'd have to especially like, you can go in the lounge and get your coffees, can't you, and take them out. But by the time you add up, probably if you had, I don't know, 10 drinks over a day, then actually it's gonna cost you money to have your free drinks. So that's where the balance tips, doesn't it?
And, like, and this is the thing, they're not gonna be a one shoe fits all people as well, like, no one loyalty
No.
scheme is gonna be perfect for everyone. Like, some people are gonna go on. I can't think of a bad example, but, like, maybe, like, even Princess, because 'cause I've got the screen open at the moment, but, like, that mini bar, if you don't drink, is gonna mean nothing to you whatsoever, so you're not gonna be bothered about having little miniatures. You'll take them home, and they'll be Christmas gifts for people. I haven't looked to see. Same with, like, wow, Disney. I think the type of people who are gonna book Disney are gonna want the Disney priority access to booking activities. I think you're specifically booking
Mm.
Disney for the Disneyisms. I haven't looked at NCLs, actually. That was one that we said we'd have a little look at, wasn't it? And this comes into again though. So, like, with NCL, you've got to get 700 points to get to ambassador level. I don't know. I'm guessing each night is a point. That's how most of these things work. One additional point per night for booking a suite or a haven. Yeah, so it's 1 point per night. You've got to do 700 nights at sea in standard class to get ambassador status with NCL, which is a lot, or it's 350 for diamond. And it looks like the perks are quite similar between the two. I'll get to what the actual diamond perks are, the ambassador perks are. Oh, okay, there you go. So if you get to ambassador, you get a free cruise. So for every 700 nights in value you do with NCL, you get a free 7-night cruise. You have to get up to, how many nights is this now to get the laundry? So say you got to get up to platinum with NCL, which is 75 points. So 75 nights in a Valkyrie or below. For that, then you get things like an exclusive cocktail party. You get discount in the spa, discount on photos, discount on ShoreX, which again, though, if you're going to have the more at sea, a lot of those things are going to be
Mm.
negated anyway. But you do then get your 1 free bag laundry, you get priority tendering, you get priority disembarkation. Oh my God, Sarah, they give you water. Would you finally?
Oh! That's it, that's worth working for, because they don't like you having water on NCL.
It just says per person per sailing, so you get 1 water per person
Oh.
per sailing. Once you hit gold level with them, so 45 nights at sea to get water. Sorry, we shouldn't. This sounds really harsh, but it's just been a running joke on the podcast since we've launched about
Yeah.
the water on NCL. Priority check-in and embarkation once you hit 75 nights in platinum level. Discount on the Wi-Fi. Chocolate covered strawberries, dinner for 2 with a bottle of wine per stateroom, dinner for 2 per stateroom. That's quite bad, actually. There's 2 free extra dinners as well. Wines around the world tasting, behind the scenes ship tour, concierge service, and then you then have to
And
go up
what
another level
levels
then
is
to
that?
get. This is for platinum, which is 75 nights or 75 points.
Right. Right, so I'm now on celebrity. Let's have a look at celebrity. So select, which is what I'm at by default. Actually, select is really good on, and that's similar to Emerald. So this is on celebrity, but with Royal Caribbean and celebrity, and in case we didn't explain it clear enough before, you get to benefit the points on the other one, don't you? So we're going to go on celebrity. So we will have to build points. We've only done one other sailing
Yeah.
with celebrity, so we will build points on top of that. We won't add to the top of our Royal Caribbean balance, so that's how that works. But you get stuff like, so you get like your onboard exclusive, um, like welcome party. I don't know what a sneak of peek of Wonder of Eden is.
I have asked, and apparently it's like a welcome to Eden experience. You kind of pop into Eden and they talk to you about Eden, and there may or may not be canopies or drinks there. It's very elusive
Oh,
of what
right.
it actually is, but it's kind of like a bit of a bite-sized in overview of what Eden's about.
Captain's Club wine tasting,
Mm,
Captain's Club backstage tour. Now that's really good at that level. Drinks and dining, one complimentary specialty coffee when you dine in a specialty restaurant. 10% discount on premium drinks package. 30% discount on photos, laundry. Oh, 2 complimentary pressed items.
yeah.
So there's lots of bits like that. But then when you go up to elite, and this is really good. So elite is 300 points, and then it's like a bit like NCL. So you get a point for every time a point for every night. But then
Yep.
better cabin, your points go up per night.
I
So
think it'll probably aqua class maybe or retreat.
no, it goes like from balcony.
Oh, does it?
concierge. Yeah,
I
because
should
our
know
friend booked
this. I
concierge.
don't. I should know, but I
Um,
don't.
there's just too much to know, isn't there? So elite is equal to diamond.
Right.
And the
Yes.
really good thing about this is you don't get your 4 free drinks, but you get
They do the captain hour, don't they, or the cocktail
yeah,
hours?
they do. Oh, here it is, Captain's exclusive cocktail hour, 5 till 7 daily. That's really
Yeah.
good. So you don't do it on embarkation day, but then you can have a couple of cocktails. Now, I suppose it's still gonna be the same as your 4 drinks really in 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well,
that's
you
quite nice that
definitely
you
make
have
sure
you
you
get
get the value for it. Trust me, I would.
be like us on the river cruise, won't it?
Another one.
Another wine.
2 minutes, quick. Yeah, yeah, quick. We'll have another one.
But then when you get to 3,000, which is Zenith, their top one, and this is really good, I think you get free Wi-Fi.
What I've noticed with the royal and celebrity ones is you don't get much for a lot of the time you're sailing with them, but then once you hit a certain threshold, you get really good perks. Like, I think
Yeah.
they would definitely keep you loyal. It's kind of like where I'm at with Virgin now, whereby you hit a certain level, then all of a sudden you're getting free drinks, you're getting discounted or free Wi-Fi, things that are a bit of a pain point when you're booking those cruises because you're like, oh, the drinks package is quite expensive and the Wi-Fi package is quite a lot. Instantly, you're like, actually, I'm now getting
Yeah.
a lot for just being very loyal to these two cruise lines. So I do think when it's weaponized, and I hate the word weaponized, but it does feel like some cruise lines weaponize their loyalty schemes up to a certain tier. They're definitely doing it because those people who are proven to be
Mm.
loyal sailors are deemed valuable. And I don't like it because sometimes you feel like if you don't have those perks, you're not as valuable to the cruise line. Yeah, but I go back to the aforementioned point of the first couple of times you're sailing, you're not really going to be making the most of the ship because you're experience everything for the first time. It's only really once you've been on multiple sailings do you know the shortcuts and you want to benefit from all these extra
Yeah.
perks that the cruise lines want to give you. That's why they throw these things at you once you're a regular sailor and they know you're a regular sailor. I do wish more cruise lines would offer loyalty matching or at least partial matching. So like where Virgin have been doing it as part of their launch wind up and also MSC do it as well. So you can match into the MSC scheme. It does mean that if you want to try that cruise line, and I know the cruise line offering the match has more to benefit. They're trying to entice you to try the cruise line. So it's funny how come the two cruise lines that are currently in a massive growth period, MSC and Virgin, are the ones who offer a match
Yeah.
system. But it does make you kind of go, like, well, at least if I try it, I'm still going to get something for trying it, like whether it's a free drink, free Wi-Fi, or whatever.
Mm. I suppose though the thing is as well, it's like between Celebrity and Royal, I suppose they're sister companies, aren't they? And
Yeah.
like between the Carnival brands, in theory, they could do that, but then I think Carnival, I don't know, maybe Carnival and Princess are too far apart. I don't know.
It's funny, isn't it? Because their brands are
Like
really far apart, and
they're
like
really
you
different.
could. You probably would benefit them because Princess customers would probably try Cunard, but when you look at them on paper, they're very different cruise lines, but the way they
Yeah.
operate is quite similar.
And I mean, that's no detriment to a Princess or a Carnival customer, but I
No,
think
no, no, no.
if you like one, you wouldn't like the other. I think like with
No.
different strokes and all that.
Yeah.
Um, but I think if with like, I know there's a Facebook group that if you did that, there'd be uproar. Like if that because in their mind they've worked towards that status, and if somebody
Yeah.
and there is an argument for is that fair? Because if you've spent your money with one brand and been loyal, what's the
Yeah.
point of them then going, "Oh, you cruise with a different cruise line, so yeah, you can have them benefits as well."
Well, you should say this though. It's happened in Australia because obviously P&O Australia as a cruise line has ceased to trade anymore, but they're part of the Carnival
Mm.
Corporation. So what they've done is they've offered P&O Australia customers loyalty status match with Princess. And they are all up in arms over it. It's more the P&O customers are up in arms because they're saying they would never sail Princess. They would prefer if they matched it. Oh, maybe it's Carnival. No, the other way around, sorry. They've matched P&O, Australia to Carnival because that's the ships that were old P&O ships are now Carnival ships. But all the P&O customers are saying like, I don't want to go on Carnival. I want to go on Princess. So why can't I choose which of those two
Which
replacement
yeah,
cruise lines I can match into? Because I feel like I'm more of a Princess customer. But obviously, in the eyes of the Carnival Corporation, P&O Australia customers aren't Princess customers. They're Carnival customers. So interesting, isn't it, that even the same company, they have locked people out of like matching with one of their
yeah.
retired cruise brands anyway. I just thought that was an interesting. So that's pretty much what they're doing there. They're choosing what they're matching into, and it's already causing a bit of a headache for some loyal fans who don't want to go with Carnival. They prefer to pick and choose to go with Princess instead.
I can't. because Carnival gets such a bad rap, but there's no way I'm ever taking a risk of finding out. There's no way.
I
But
don't want to offend anyone who's a fan of Carnival who may be listening to this podcast, but there was a post in one of the Facebook groups of a fight, and the comments had me in stitches about it because everyone was like, "Oh, it must be 7 p.m. on a Carnival ship." Type of thing. Just
not
talking
all
about
Carnival
it's like
customers are like that, are they?
thinking,
And I
no,
think this is the bad thing about social media. So Carnival's got a bad reputation.
yeah,
Not all Carnival, because it hasn't. The ships are amazing,
mm,
aren't they? They look amazing. But there are some bad reputation elements because of the fights that get videoed and get shared, and
yeah,
that might be like a
yeah,
1% of all sailings. I mean, there was one on Royal
yeah.
Caribbean recently on
But did you see the
Icon.
comments on that one as well? Where people were calling it Carnival of the Sea. I'm here for the memes though. I love a good funny meme and I can see the funny side of it.
Do you
But
know
people were
though,
commenting saying like, like what's happened to Royal? This fight's breaking out on Royal, but there's been fights on Virgin happening. There's been fights on a lot of cruise lines. Just people are just I don't know.
people are people. But my first ever Princess cruise, 2 families got chucked off at St. Lucia. That was like when Joe was
Really?
little. That was my first ever Princess
Yeah.
cruise. So it happens on every cruise line. I think some people just like the drama in life, don't they? And you don't know who those people are. Um, but yeah, it happens on every single brand. But the bad thing about social media, and I think it's to the detriment of the cruise industry, is that some of the stuff that goes on in these Facebook groups and is said is unfair, or it's somebody's
Yeah.
opinion. And somebody put today, "Don't go on Oasis of the Seas, it's a hideous ship and the food was disgusting." And I
Yeah.
think, did they go on the different ship to me because I loved it?
Literally like this is why I'm so cautious and why I'm a little bit apprehensive about Facebook groups sometimes because some Facebook groups you get the odd one or two people who run that Facebook group with an iron thumb and they may not be the admins, they may just be members in the group who are allowed to run riot
Mm.
and they will just derail the whole thing because they've had a bad experience. They want to tarnish the whole product and make out that it's a really bad time. There's a load of people in the Virgin community who do it. They go out of their way and all they do is just moan and whine about how bad Virgin is. And I'm like, I have done 12 plus voyages with Virgin and I had a lovely time every single time. And anything that's gone wrong has never been Virgin's fault. It's been the weather or a third party factor. Like, I don't know what cruises you're going on. Like, I think I've done enough to know now the
Mm.
general vibe of a VV cruise. But for some reason, this person, the food's always cold, the drinks are watered down, the crew are rude, the entertainment's boring. And I'm like, we are on very different ships type of thing. But some Facebook groups, there are
Yeah.
people who just sit there and that's all they want to do is just tear down a brand for whatever reason. There's something may have happened to them personally, or they haven't touched grass in a few months type of thing, and they just want to tear a brand down online. And I just get bored of it.
My friend, this is years ago, she did travel and tourism at university, and she ended up working for, back when it was Air Tours. Do you remember Air Tours?
Oh God, back in
Yeah.
the day.
So it's a long time ago, but this is just a prime example. And she, like, she worked in
Mm.
customer complaints. She one I mean, she had, like, I mean, we used to talk about the complaints all the time. It was, like, hysterical. This is before the days of Facebook and stuff. But she
Yeah.
once had a woman, and they were suing to get a refund because she bought a sea sponge in Greece, and it fell apart the first time she used it. I
So you're
kid
a
you
refund
not.
for the whole holiday?
Yeah, or a good percentage, because she was disappointed with the quality of the sea sponge. And
They
it's
are my
like,
favorite one.
some people have genuine reasons
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
annoyed,
yeah, yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
the way you deal with it, isn't it? Go to the brand, be professional. But these people, I mean, I don't know, maybe someone feels strong enough to shout through Facebook, but there's been one today that everybody's been commenting on, and I can't remember the exact complaint, but it's petty, and it's something
Yeah.
that it should have dealt with on the time on the ship. And the thing is, why should, if you've got an issue, why should you straight away get 20% off
A
your next
full
cruise?
refund, a whole
Yeah,
thing,
or a
like,
full
just because
refund.
something like the water wasn't hot for 2 hours. I've had things like that where or,
Mm,
like, ports are called early. So, like, oh, yeah, they've had to call because of the weather, we skipped a port or the ports have changed
mm.
type of thing, and then they're demanding full refunds for the whole cruise because they've skipped the one port they were looking forward to, and it's like, if you really, really badly wants to visit Rome, you should have flown into a land holiday to Rome. Like, I love cruising. Cruise is
Mm,
a wonderful way to explore the world, but weather patterns can change and ports change all
mm.
the time. Without being harsh, but people who kind of bucket list the world or a single destination based on a cruise, if you've got your heart visiting or heart set on visiting a particular town or port or region, and you choose to do a cruise, you are preparing yourself potentially for some bad vibes because weather patterns can cancel ports all the time.
But saying that, in 20 years of cruising, I've only ever had 1 port change. I think I've been lucky, but I've only ever had 1 port. Oh, no, 2. 2 now because we had one. Did we have one on the transatlantic because there was a medical emergency? But even that, I think we had to miss a port, or I can't remember the exact
Yeah,
details now, but we were all like, "Well, we're happy to spend an extra day at sea because we love it
yeah,
at sea."
yeah.
And there was one lady that was like, "I just wish we'd go back to Miami early. I just want to get off now." It's like,
Really?
"Really?"
She go, I don't know. It's a tough one, and I get it. Like, you book a cruise is a big part of your holiday type of thing, but it sounds harsh. But just if you've got your heart set on a certain destination,
Book it.
it's just
Go.
a possibility. So just
Mm.
don't. Tell all my customers, like, if they say to me like, "Oh, I dream about going to Rome," I'm just always a bit like, "That's fine, but just be mindful that things change with a cruise." So just
Start your cruise in
yeah.
Rome and spend 2 days in there before. That'd be my
Do you get
advice.
what I mean? Like, at
Yeah.
least I hate saying it because it sounds like I'm being like a really bad travel agent. I'm being honest. I'm generally being
Yeah.
honest. Like, that it rarely happens, but if your heart is on, prime example, Virgin, the overnight in Ibiza. If your dream is to go to Ibiza, book a holiday to Ibiza, cruise there, absolutely, and you can have an amazing time. But if the weather changes or there's a strike in port, which has happened to me in Zeebrugge. There was a strike in port. We couldn't get off the ship for hours. And then we had half a day there but that's the third, but Amsterdam even, there was a strike at the port, not strike, protest at the port in Amsterdam.
Oh, yeah.
So we were stuck miles out in Mulgen. I can never pronounce it, but we were miles out type of thing. These things happen at the end of the day. A cruise ship moves, so you have to kind of go with the flow with it. I spent a lot of time waffling about it, but just, yeah.
I like being on a ship. So to me, it's just like, "Oh, well, that's a bonus day." I'm quite happy. But yeah, it's we're
Mm.
such a diverse community, aren't we? And you can't please everybody, and that's the
Yep.
beauty of the cruise lines, that they suit different passengers.
I do think like it's good when we do have these types of chats. So this is why I think our episodes have become a little less focused recently, but I think it's because there's a lot of these conversations we keep having, but we've never really got a full-on conversation or
Yeah.
a perspective of like if we want to share this fact. Like when we do our port guides, we know, right, we want to share these tips and these things because this is what has happened. Whereas these last couple of episodes have been more broad topics type
Uh,
of thing. And I think it's quite nice to just chat with each other as friends about, does it actually matter to you? Because we keep talking about it. So it's like, well, let's record it. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I guess I do. I feel like for me, at least anyway, loyalty makes a difference to me. I know I've now started becoming more and more loyal to Virgin,
Mm.
even more than I was. It goes beyond just loving the product now. I love the fact that I have these extra perks on board and it's making me kind of a little bit envious of those, maybe like yourself with Royal, who get the free drinks, where I'm like, oh, can I really go through the number of sailings and nights I need to do to get to that tier because I want that as well? So it does for me, I will admit, it does make a difference to me now when I'm booking my cruises about possibly deciding to build loyalty up with another cruise line
Mm.
or retaining my loyalty. Do you feel you could answer that now and say either yes or no, it does or doesn't make a difference to you?
It didn't used to, but I think no, I think it always has, because even down to like your 2 half-price drinks, or whatever you get, they're nice little perks. It's not a right, it's something somebody's giving you to say thank you, and I appreciate the fact that the sentiment of that, I quite like that. So I enjoy it from that perspective, and obviously as I've got closer to better perks, it has motivated me more to, I mean, I'm
Definitely.
always motivated to cruise, but it's motivated me more to stick to a certain cruise line.
Yeah. Yeah, no, fab. Okay. Well, if you guys are ever interested in becoming Diamond members with Royal Caribbean and would love to book your cruise with me to do that, I would love to help you as well. See that tenuous link? I should work in TV, shouldn't I? You can find me online anywhere under magical-traveler.com, or you can find me on all my social media under magical TRVLR. And then, Sarah, I know you've got tons of guides on your website as well about sailing in general, but where can the guys find your details?
You can find us at cruisingwithkids.co.uk.
Fab. Other than that, guys, we hope you've enjoyed this episode and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.